Well, this is part two, but it's really part one done over again. My cat messed it up, so I got to start over. Anyway, here, let's start here. I put a little summary sheet in there under the final week here, number 17. If you go in there and you go down here to the bottom, you'll see study suggestions for 1302 final. So let's look at that. And I'm going to spend just a few minutes, try to do this in two 5-minute ones versus a 10-minute one. And we need to do this because the save doesn't work as good when we do the, it's not coming up. Hold on a second. Give it a second. Maybe I have it over here in Word. There it is in Word. We'll just look at it in Word. Anyway, this is what's there. So basically your final is going to be over MLA rules and a few other things. And it's true, false, and multiple choice primarily. So you just have to recognize the right format. But know the basic rules of format, which includes the font, the margins, where everything goes on a page, Times Roman 12, double space, all those sorts of things. Citations, the idea of putting the name, the page number, parentheses, after the sentence, and the period closes off all of that because MLA sees that all as one sentence. Know that basic form, know how those work. Block quotes, you block quote anything over 5 sentences. And in MLA, it still stays double spaced, not single spaced, but you do left justify everything. So there's an indent 1 or 5 spaces in, so it's set off from the other in that sense, but it's not set off by being single spaced. The headings, we went over those, you know, in the upper left-hand corner, you've got your name, my name, class name, date. And then the header over another side, your name, page number. Make sure those are all in the right font. We had a little problem with that. Paraphrasing is the idea of taking somebody's quote and putting it in your own words. And you have to still put a citation in the parentheses after this, even if it's mostly in your own words. If you do happen to quote within that, you do still want to put quotation marks. You may be summarizing and then want to catch just a few specific words like they said this so well. Then you do put quotation marks around that. Anytime you're using their exact words, you put quotation marks. But if you're putting it in your own words, then you don't put it in quotation marks, but you still have to cite it, okay? And proper quotations, that's when it's in a quotation mark. That's when you use the exact words of an author. Punctuation, basic punctuation period at the end of the sentence. We're not going over all the punctuation rules, just here mainly the ones that MLA is concerned about. Those would be the ones within the source citations at the end, when in your bibliography or your works cited page. And then also, if the quote has a punctuation mark in it, like a question mark and an exclamation mark, that still remains. You don't put that at the end. You put that in because that's part of the quote, but then you still put the period at the end, okay? All right, works cited page. This is the last page of your paper. It is not like right after the last paragraph. You go all the way down, start a new page. So if you've got 6 pages of text, the works cited page will be on page 7. And then you need to know basically what those look like. So study the basic form of works cited. What is italicized, what is not. Remember, article names are put in quotation marks. Journals from which the articles come, magazines and books are put in italics. Okay? The difference between good sources, primary sources, secondary sources. Basically, by good sources, we mean these come from academic journals, peer-reviewed. They don't come from Wikipedia. .org as opposed to .com are good sources. Primary sources are when you're quoting the author themselves. So if you're, say, doing a paper on Jane Austen and Pride and Prejudice, when you're quoting the book itself, that's a primary source. When you're quoting people writing about the book or writing about the author, then that's a secondary source. And then, you know, it's more like when you're quoting the data itself, that's a primary source. But when you're quoting people who are talking and interpreting the data, that's a secondary source. Those are kind of the basic ideas. Okay, I'm going to stop it there and start the other one.